Yo, peace and blessings. Coming back with another spiritual message. The name of this video gonna be Growing Up in This World, We Were Already Sick Mentally. Growing up in this world, we were already sick mentally. And I was talking about the pandemic and everything going on yesterday in my last video. But and of course we know, it's a sickness going around and everything, but it just made me think about the mental stuff I was talking about yesterday as far as that. And it made me think about how, growing up in this world, we mentally were sick or got sick by the things we were exposed to in this world. And it just made me think of that. It made me think of that on another level mentally as far as that, because a lot of things affected us growing up as children. Things that we were exposed to, a lot of things we didn't mean to stumble upon or be curious about, and they were put in front of our face, and we had a lot of access to it, and we shouldn't have had easy access to a lot of things that mentally got us sick. And it made me think about certain things that I seen as a child, or I seen other children do as well, that we were exposed to, and it mentally affected us as we grew up and stuff, and how we seen the world. And it even affects people now in their grown ages as well. It affects them because a lot of things that could get stuck mentally in your head without proper knowledge or proper understanding behind it can really mentally mess you up, and that could take a toll on not just your well-being but your life. And I was just thinking about different things, like as children that we participated in that we shouldn't have, or things that we watched or talked about at school and shared with our other friends that we shouldn't have participated in. Like I remember when I was in daycare, because I didn't go to pre-K and kindergarten. I was in daycare. Then once I finished all that up, then I went to first grade. I remember like people that was in daycare, at certain times during the day, everybody used to have a nap time or whatever after we had lunch and stuff. So and the daycare I went to, the teachers like lounge was like upstairs, up the steps, and the teachers would be down there making sure everybody went to sleep and stuff like that. They'd turn the lights off, everybody laid. We had like these little like cots. Everybody had their own cot, and we would all lay down on our cots and stuff with our blankets and stuff, and they would watch us and make sure we went to sleep. So once they seen that everybody was asleep, all the kids were asleep, they would go up there and do whatever they was doing in the office, whatever business they had to take care of, or if they was just eating their lunch or just talking and stuff, until it was time for us to wake up and do the rest of the activities to finish up the rest of the day. So I remember when the teachers used to go upstairs, I remember it used to be certain kids and stuff being real fresh, like they would run and show the other kids and go, like say a boy would go get up, and once he see the coast is clear, and he'll run to a cot with a girl in it, and they'll be doing fresh stuff like humping and stuff like that, and everybody be looking, laughing like, oh, look what they doing. But when I think about it, now it's like, yo, damn, we really was mentally sick. Like, where was we getting this stuff from? Why was we doing that? We young. Like I said, this is daycare. It's before pre-K, kindergarten. This is daycare. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, when I think about this stuff, I'm like, yo, we was, with all this sickness stuff going around, it made me think about how we was mentally sick growing up in this world, things we were exposed to. Or even when I think about certain games we played that was inappropriate, like house. You would think that little kids playing house would be inappropriate, but a lot of times kids were being very inappropriate playing house. And every child wanted to be the parents, because the parents got to do all the nasty stuff that we weren't supposed to be thinking about or knowing about as children. And these things, I think about it now, and I'm like, damn, this affect a lot of people as we got older, and things just kept getting more and more crazier as we advanced and got older and went out more into the world. And even it doesn't even have to just be those things as well. It could also be just our environment. Like growing up, you know what I'm saying, in the ghetto and different stuff like that in the hood, it was just certain stuff we were exposed to where it changed us mentally of how we had to move and think. You know, just walking through certain neighborhoods, just being a certain way of being maybe too nice or too caring. People were taking advantage of that. Or you just had people that when you mind your own business, kids just wanted to harm you or take something from you or different things like that. So it forced us mentally to be on guard, to be cautious, to be paranoid, and to also change us how we moved in our environment, and it shaped us into who we are today. And you know, a lot of people don't want to be on guard and don't want to be this tough exterior on the outside. And a lot of people want to be caring and just be vulnerable, but we, in certain environments, it showed that we couldn't, because that would get you hurt. It would show weakness. People would try to run up on you. So you had to learn mentally how to move and stuff. Certain stuff may have happened to you. You might have got jumped, might have got into certain fights, might have got robbed, might have got stuff stolen. People might have picked on you. So those things mentally had us sick as well. And it affected us growing up, even as we got older. And a lot of people, affects them maybe worse than others. Maybe some of them weren't able to overcome some of those things. And it was sickness on many levels. Like even certain things we were exposed to. Like I remember in like junior high and stuff like that, elementary, even high school, kids was watching stuff like when the teacher left the room and we was on the computers. It always would be a few students going to visit websites we wasn't supposed to be watching. And all the kids would be just hovering around that computer and stuff and looking at inappropriate stuff. But it's like, yo, we was really mentally sick, and the fact that we had access to some of this stuff so easily really mentally was making us sick on so many levels. Even when I talk about the environment, it was making us mentally sick of just certain stuff we would see, like people getting jumped, stabbed, shot. And it mentally made us sick because it was like, wow, the world is not this pretty place that we thought as children. As we got older, in certain spots, not every place is like that, but for myself and people that grew up in environments like that, it made us mentally sick of like, damn, this is out here. So it was very hard on a lot of us. And back to the stuff, like I said, certain stuff we wasn't supposed to be watching on TV, like, or computers or whatever else we was exposed to, and we just doing very inappropriate things and exposed to things that we wasn't supposed to know about or have the right knowledge about to move about. So like there were even things on certain children movies, shows, that even when I watch now and I go back and I'm like, yo, I don't remember that being on there. And I'm like, wow, even certain children comic books I look at and I see inappropriate drawings and stuff. And I'm like, I never realized that was in there until I got older and I went back and looked. And I'm like, wow, now I see why a lot of us are over-sexualized or just too hyper about certain things, or just way out there with certain stuff mentally. I see why, because it's like everywhere. And sometimes, a lot of times, not even our fault. It get put in our face. We just watching a show as children, and inappropriate part come up. We watching a movie, something inappropriate come in, like, and we exposed to it. And of course, as children, we curious, so we want to find out more. And that's where the danger comes, our curiosity when we was younger. Like I said, they'll be at the computer looking at stuff when the teacher leave, or the little kids playing inappropriate games because of something they seen, overheard, or watched on TV, or seen something in their household. And it was just like, it really affected us on so many levels where I'm like, yeah, it's a sickness going on and everything with this pandemic, but when I thought about it, I'm like, yo, the world made us mentally sick a long time ago. And growing, as we continue to grow up, it just got even more crazier. Like certain stuff I used to see, like growing up as I got my teenage years, from all that other crazy stuff, I would just see certain stuff, especially with the opposite sex, with girls, that made me into a world, or made me see a world that was not visible to me, that I didn't even think exists, as far as like real explicit crazy stuff that they was into. It could even sexually, that I'm like, oh, that's out here, or like, oh, that's what they're into, or that's how they getting down when you really get invited to the other side and you get to see that. So then I started learning like, oh, that's out here. So mentally, that jacked me up. Seeing certain stuff, I'm like, oh, I ain't think they was like that. I thought it was only dudes like that was on that. But a lot of time, a lot of dudes learn that stuff from them, or stuff they into sexually, or they exposing us to, or they turned on by whatever else, and we like, oh, okay. And it's just stuff that mentally jacked us up from young. And a lot of times, like I said, certain people know how to handle it. A lot of people didn't, and it affected them as they got older. Like, so it just made me think on a mental level, like, yo, there's a lot of things that jacked us up, whether it was inappropriate stuff as children, our environments where we seen stuff that we weren't supposed to be exposed to, as far as like killings, shootings, stabbings, certain stuff we seen going traveling to different places, people trying to harm you, jump you, rob you, or different things. Even in school, people trying to take advantage of you, trying to bully you or whatever, and you had to realize and change your mindset quick. Like, y'all gotta move this way, because if I don't, people are going to take advantage of me. And if I continue to move like that in life, something bad could happen to me. So I gotta make sure that I'm not looking like a target, and know how to move, know how to think, know how to interact, know how to look people in the eyes, know how to keep a tough exterior. Not saying that you gotta go mean mugging, but you gotta keep some type of seriousness in your persona, and your walk, and your tone, and the way you handle yourself. And of course, nothing wrong with being open and stuff like that once you see you can trust people, but you see what happens when they see people that they think are targets or are vulnerable enough to take advantage of. So it just made me think about those things on a mental level. Like, yo, we were suffering from sickness growing up in this world a long time ago, and even some people now. And some people have a hard time getting over a lot of those things that we are exposed to as children. And it's tough for them. So I just wanted to bring that to light. Talk about that situation mentally, being sick, because it's a lot going on with the pandemic now as far as sickness. But I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that we was or still are sick and suffering from now mentally. So to the next topic, to the next video, peace and blessings. Keep doing your thing out there, and stay focused, and stay positive as much as you can. Every day ain't gonna be the best. Every day ain't gonna be positive. Of course, I know that, because life happens, things happen. But for what you can control, try to control it to the best of your abilities, because you don't want to just be down in the dumps 24/7. So like I said, you're gonna have your days where you might be down, you might be sad. The opposite end got you the best that day. They won that day. The opposition won that day. But you can always bounce back the next day, and you could get the victory back from then on out. So peace and blessings. Keep rocking out, keep your head up, and to the next topic. Peace.